Hey guys, final book support group round 12 is over and done with. So how did we do? Hey guys, if you are new to my channel, welcome to the Book Path. I'm Nicole, and if this is a new first rodeo, thanks for sticking around. So final book support group round 12 is over and done with. I did not complete everything, but yet I will be completing everything. So let's go ahead and talk about what I did complete, and then we'll get into how it isn't complete but will be complete, because I know that's probably spinning in your head. So basically the prompts are up here, and for continuation station, I was supposed to read The House of War and Bone. This is book 2 in the series, and I started reading that, but I haven't finished it yet. So didn't really complete that one. I did take part in at least 2 sprints. They were one of the morning sprints. I was kind of bouncing around throughout the day, so I wasn't able to really take part in other sprints, but I did make an appearance in 2 of the morning sprints. I think it was like Friday morning and Saturday morning. So I did do that one. The next book was a poll pick, which was The Ember and Ashes, which I did not get to at all. So that one I did not do. For the next one was to share your T.B.R. on socials. Obviously I did that because I did the video with my T.B.R. I also posted pictures of my T.B.R. to my socials, so that one was accomplished as well. Next up was to read a final book, and for this I ended up reading The Dragon's Promise. This one I did finally finish, so the duology, the Six Crimson Cranes duology, if I can speak, is complete. This not only was my book for the final book prompt, it also served as the T.B.R. vet prompt for final book support group. So both of those prompts got accomplished. But that wasn't it for final book support group, because this was also a book used in the Escape the Readathon that I'm doing. This wasn't used for one of the prompts. It was actually ended up being used for a challenge, for a team challenge, which was a Fear Factor game, and we needed to read a book with a creature on the cover. So I picked it because obviously you have the dragon on the cover here. So I did use it for that, as well as using it for the Asian Readathon. And the prompt was to read an underrated book, and I also doubled up with the prompt to use it for the prompt that said something you want in a new life. And basically reading an underrated book was to read a book that you weren't either feeling that good about and it surprised you, or to read a book that has kind of not had the greatest ratings. And so that's why I chose this one, as I heard a lot of people loved Six Crimson Cranes but didn't really love this one. And then as far as reading something you want in a new life, well, the whole magic world with dragons and just the kind of colors and vibrancy that I felt from this book is kind of why I'm choosing this one. I ended up giving it 3 stars. It wasn't bad. It was close to being a 4-star because things did pick up. But the best way to describe this is that if this were an audiobook, it's like having a really great audio book. Like the plot line, the book itself is really well done, but the narrator is monotone and just kind of wanting to make you fall asleep. So that's kind of what I felt with this one, because the story was good. Things were happening. There wasn't fault there. It was just delivered in a way that I just felt was dragging on and slow, even though it wasn't slow, because there was things happening. It was like this contradiction for me. It was really cute. Like, it does give me a little bit of Hayao Miyazaki, like Studio Ghibli vibes, or Ghibli vibes, and I always mess up how to pronounce that. It did have that, because it does have that kind of cuteness to it and the kind of world. I love Kiki, the little paper crane. She is just a little, I love her. That's probably another reason why, like, I would pick this one for like another life, because even though magic isn't is kind of frowned upon and seen as being threatening, and there are like demons that are like bad, you have this rich world with this mythology and this folklore, and then you have the fact that she made a paper crane come to life, and it's kind of her little sidekick, and like that kind of thing was good. Plus there does end up being some kind of, I guess, interplanetary travel, if you will. I don't want to give that away, but so that would be kind of cool to, you know, do as well. But it was well done. I do recommend it. I do recommend it probably for a younger YA audience because it is a YA fantasy. There's not anything too drastic in it that's going to be overly triggering, I think, or overly bad or anything like that. It's very kind of innocent in the kind of tradition of this is like a fantasy adventure story set to a mythological tale, and it is rich in that essence. But like I said, there wasn't anything wrong with the storyline. It was what it needed to be. It just wasn't pulling me so much. I liked the characters, but I didn't love the characters. I liked their quest, but I wasn't fully invested. So it was just a little bit of holding back from that. But yeah, so finished this, got all those prompts done, not only for Final Book Support Group, but for the other readathons as well. So can't ask for more from that one. So 3 stars. I do recommend it though. I think it does give a good conclusion. If you've only read 6 Crimson Cranes, this does kind of give you that conclusion and build off of what you were reading in the first one. So next up, after we've done the final book and the T.B.R. vet prompt, which were completed with The Dragon's Promise, it was to read a graphic novel, manga, or novella. And for that, I was supposed to read the Campfire Cooking in a New World with My Absurd Skill. However, when I went to go get that from my library, it was gone. So I ended up using the Libby app. I mean, I was using the Libby app anyway, but I ended up using the Libby app, and I ended up getting the first volume of, I'm going to botch this so bad, of Himoto Umaru-chan, and that was volume 1. I had seen the anime of this years ago, and I just kind of got a kick out of the silliness of it. It's basically a day in the life style manga, and what that means is it's just following the daily life of this high school girl who at school is beautiful, successful, great student, great athlete, like the perfect girl. All the guys have crushes on her, all the girls want to be her. And she lives at home with her older brother, who is an office worker. And when she gets home, she is no longer Miss Perfect. She is this lazy kind of female otaku. And what that means is that she's very into anime, manga, video games, like living in her bedroom, snacks, all that stuff. So it's very at odds with the outside persona that she gives off at school. So she always obviously keeps this secret. She usually makes her older brother kind of her pawn to go and buy her things, to do things for her, because she doesn't want to get found out and have this like perfect persona like busted. So it's just kind of the stuff she does and these silly antics and the way she behaves. And like for me, I just feel so bad for the brother because the stuff he goes through is just like, oh, I can't believe it. But it does leave off on a cliffhanger towards the end because there is somebody from her class that is going to find out her little secret and how that's going to progress. So like I said, I had watched the anime years ago, so I recognized it and I was like, well, let's see if the manga will make me giggle as well. And it did. So I went and I finished that one and the manga prompt was fulfilled. I ended up giving that one 4 stars because it's funny, it's cute, it's what it needs to be. It's not like I'm living for it, so it didn't get the 5-star treatment, but it was fun. And so if you're looking for just like a simple, funny, like manga to read, then I recommend it. It's got some comedy in there. So then after that, our next prompt was to read a new release. And for my new release, it was a first book in a new series again, and that is Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli. I had heard really great things about it, and I can understand why this was a 5-star for me. I really, really enjoyed it, and probably because it gave me major Zorro vibes. I found out that the author was influenced on this book by an old classic, The Scarlet Pimpernel. I have not read it. I am aware of the plot line where it has someone from kind of the, I don't want to say royal line, but they have power and they kind of sneak around with the mask to save people. And so it kind of falls into my Zorro, Robin Hood, love of my life type stuff. And that is kind of what we have. But what I loved is there was a twist to this, because in other ones I've seen the male character kind of taking on that Zorro kind of role. In this character, in this book, it is the female character doing it. And the female character is Rune, and she is a witch who has kind of a tragic backstory, but she is living in secrecy in a world where there used to be these 3 witch queens that kind of went power hungry, weren't the nicest of people. People revolted, the 3 witches got killed. Now you have this kind of restlessness and unsettling because there's new powers trying to take over. If you're found out that you're a witch, you are put to death. And you have the people, some people are loving it. Obviously, those with powers are trying to stay hidden or get out. So it's just kind of that chaos. And so Rune, in secret, with the assistance of 2 of her friends, tries to find witches, break them out of the prisons, and get them off this island where they all live. But entering the arena comes Gideon, and Gideon is kind of like the captain of this new guard. He's one of the higher ups that goes and gets witches. He has backstory with witches and experience with him that has left him kind of scarred. And how these two come together is that Gideon is the brother of one of Rune's friends and accomplices. So you have brothers at odds. You also have Rune, who is of a marrying age, and she has to find somebody, and they're trying to get her to find somebody in power on the opposition side, or on the opposing side, so that she can get some of their secrets, and maybe that will help her in the efforts that she's trying to do. So she starts to turn her attention to Gideon. Gideon starts to turn his attention to Rune, thinking either she might be the Crimson Moth, as the vigilante is called, or that she might know who the Crimson Moth is. So they're both kind of an enemies to lovers. They're kind of spying on each other, also the while trying not to fall in love with one another. So it was really well done. I got some giggles out of it. The beach scene. If you know, you know. Great scene. Not fully steamy because this is a YA fantasy. It's for an older YA audience, I would say, probably your 16 to 18 audience. But it's not like, there is some nudity in there. There is some language in there. There is slightly graphic scenes of violence. There's worse out on TV, I'm sure. So I do recommend this. I thought it was great. I will be looking forward to the sequel. Hands down, one of the better books I've picked up recently. So yeah, 5 stars. This was my new release prompt, and we did that one. So the last prompt for Final Book Support Group was a self-care prompt, and I did this in another number of ways over the weekend. There was face masks involved, there were Biore strips involved, there was naps involved, there was Cinco de Mayo, so there were some drinks involved. Not that, you know, for all of you guys that are just wondering, not too many. It was with the dinner thing, so I am responsible in that way. But yeah, so just kind of resting, taking it easy, and, you know, reading, getting the other things done that I needed to do. So, as you see, the War of Bone and, well, the House of War and Bone and the Ember and Ashes did not get completed. So those 2 prompts didn't get completed in time for Final Book Support Group. However, they are prompts that I do need to finish by the end of the month for other readathons. So that's why I say they didn't get in, like, did I complete Final Book Support Group in time for Final Book Support Group's 4-day end? No. However, all the books on it will be completed by the end of the month. So Final Book Support Group will be completed, just not in the time frame that it was supposed to be. So with that being said, let me know if you read any of the books that I used. Let me know your thoughts on them. If you participated in Final Book Support Group, let me know if you were able to successfully complete all the challenges and what you read for the challenges. And awesome job to you guys for completing it if you did. If not, no harm, no foul. We're all in the same boat together. It's a lot to read a bunch of books, you know, in 4 days, especially in a weekend, especially if you have kids or, you know, other kind of plans. So you do what you do and you just have a fun time doing it. Other than that, I hope you guys are doing well and that I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.